I think he can't declare victory until he solves something regarding the very large amount, 440.9 kilograms of 60% enriched, highly enriched uranium that has so far been unaccounted for since the bombings back in June. The worst case scenario is that this material is unaccounted for, and we have this lingering doubt that there may be highly enriched uranium that can be used for a nuclear weapon somewhere that we can't tell whether it's been destroyed, buried, neutralized. It might just be gone. Well, I think this is the logical outcome of the U.S. attacks. And when we're trying to think about how Donald Trump would declare victory, I think he can't declare victory until he solves something regarding the very large amount, 440.9 kilograms of 60% enriched, highly enriched uranium that has so far been unaccounted for since the bombings back in June. So that's why I think we see this new bombing at Natanz to try to resolve the issue and to claim that we've neutralized this reservoir of material from which Iran could derive a nuclear weapon. If we're talking about bombing the facilities where they enriched uranium, or a facility, we suspect there's another facility near Natanz that Iran might be storing the enriched uranium, you are completely safe. Because if this material is hit, if the containers, you're talking about a uranium hexafluoride gas in basically a metal tube like you would keep carbon dioxide or propane. If it's punctured, the uranium gas can escape, and it's very dangerous if you're in the room with it. But a kilometer away, you would have no idea this happened. There's no radiological release possible really outside a number of meters. This really is not an environmental hazard, except if you're in the room. If you're nearby and you breathe in this gas, sure, it's dangerous. But we're not talking about fission. We're not talking about Chernobyl. We're not talking about attacking a working reactor. We're talking about a nuclear fuel that is in gaseous form, that is not combustible. It's not going to poison the atmosphere or damage people way off site, as in, across the Gulf. Again, there's no threat of an environmental disaster. Actually, the worst disaster we could have is that we have overconfidence that we've actually destroyed it. Right now, we believe that a lot of this material is buried under rubble, and we think the Iranians have not been able to recover it and move it off-site. So the United States is clearly trying to either destroy it in place or further bury it to make it impossible to recover. But even then, we don't know if all of it is in that facility. Some of it may have been moved to Esfahan. Some of it may have been moved to a site that we don't even know about. And so there is the possibility, the worst case scenario, is that this material is unaccounted for, and we have this lingering doubt that there may be highly enriched uranium that can be used for a nuclear weapon somewhere that we can't tell whether it's been destroyed, buried, neutralized. It might just be gone. And the worst case scenario would be that it's being traded on the open market, proliferated to other countries. Well, I mean, I am concerned to hear that Iran is trying to strike nuclear facilities in Israel, such as Dimona. This is a working nuclear facility. If it is struck, it will have environmental consequences. It's also so interesting in this whole thing, when you look at it and you think, people are saying, well, if Iran had nuclear weapons, they wouldn't be attacked. But as you just said, Israel has nuclear weapons, but they're being attacked. So I think we overestimate the value of nuclear weapons in terms of deterring attacks. And the idea that Iran would get one nuclear weapon and somehow that would save them is erroneous. Actually, it still opens you up to further combat. But again, I am concerned. I do not want to see any nuclear power plant attacked. Both the US and Israel have been relatively restrained in terms of targeting Iran's working nuclear reactors at Bushehr and in Tehran. And I hope that continues, because I don't want to see that, because that would cause an environmental disaster that could threaten your country as well.